Hi, my name is Dr. Catherine Moore McCallan. I'm the director of the Center for Latin American Arts here at UTRGV, and we're excited to host our registration social in spring 2021. We're here to answer questions that you might have about registration, financial aid, and scholarships. We're excited that enrollment is up 8%, and we want to help our students have the needed resources and information and knowledge to feel good about their current registration, their future registration, and also receive support for their financial aid, and also know everything they can know about scholarship opportunities. The university has wonderful scholarship application opportunities, and we want to make sure everyone has a equal chance to apply to all of them and receive that support as well. We're very thankful to have with us today representatives from the Financial Aid Office, the Registrar, and Scholarships Office. We're going to start in this order with the Financial Aid Office presentation, and then we will continue with the Registrar and the Scholarships Office. And I just wanted to thank Marcela Anaya Chong from the Financial Aid Office for being here today, and also Tony Alvarez and Brenda Cowart for coming from Scholarships, and also Esteban Martin from the Registrar's Office. So thank you all for being here today and for providing us with information and sharing your knowledge about how to help our students succeed and have the support they need from the university and their mentors. So we'll go ahead and start now with Marcela's presentation from the Office of the Registrar. And Marcela, if you would like to take it away.
Yes. Okay, so let me get started. Um, mm, okay. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So let's get started. Okay. Um, so first of all, my name is Marcela Naya and I'm representing the Financial Aid Office here at UTRGV. I just want to let you know that it's important the time when you submit or you complete your applications. So just be aware of the dates that you have to complete it. So let me show you this screen that gives you the dates when you need to complete your FAFSA and TASFA. It was open since October the 1st. And to apply for the Tuition Advantage program, you have till March the 1st, which is already coming up, the deadline. So consider that important date. And we also gave a certain priority deadline for the students that we receive their FAFSAs and TASFAs before the January 15. Here you can also see the school code in order for you to apply for any financial aid. Then let's continue with what you will be needing in order to complete your financial aid applications, either FAFSA or TASFA. So for FAFSA, it's going to be for federal and state aid, and it's open for all US citizens and permanent residents. And then we have also the TASFA, which is only state financial aid, but it's very useful for all students that are not US citizens or residents, but have graduated from a Texas high school. So what you will be needing in order to complete a FAFSA, you're gonna be needing your 2019 tax return. If you're a dependent, you're gonna need your parents as well. You're gonna need the W-2s. You're gonna need also the foreign tax return if your parents fill out a foreign tax returns, right? Then you also need your social permanent resident card if applicable. And also it's gonna ask you if you have any other types of incomes like social security benefits, veteran benefits, etc. It's also important to know that in order for you to keep up with your financial aid, your grades matter. We normally are reviewing um, how is your GPA and how many courses are you taking. We normally run all the types of audits in order to be aware of how the students are going in order to keep with their financial aids. So it's important to consider your satisfactory academic progress. Uh, in order to keep your financial, your federal, state, whatever type of aid that you're receiving, you will need to be um, maintaining these three SAP considerations. The first is a 67% of the attended courses should be completed for the undergrads. Then the GPA criteria that we manage is a 2.0, so you shouldn't get lower than that in order to keep receiving your financial aid. And also consider the exceeded maximum time frame, which is of 180 credit hours. If you go over that, you will not be longer eligible to receive financial aid. Okay, so a little bit of the types of financial aid that we are offering. We have, first of all, the grants. These grants is money that you don't need to pay back. It's given money to you due to certain considerations that we consider that we obtain based on your FAFSA that you submit. So the first one is a Pell Grant. The Pell Grant, it's a program based on need. So when you're completing your FAFSA, when we receive your FAFSA, we're gonna do what it's called an estimated family contribution. And based on that, we're gonna grant you some money or give you some money towards your school, right? We also consider the amount of hours that you are enrolled for the Pell Grant. So if you're taking full-time classes, you're probably going to receive more Pell than if you're just taking one or two courses. SEOG grant, it's another need-based grant, but it's a very limited funding. So that's what I was mentioning about submitting early applications in order to be eligible to receive the SEOG. And you also, in order to receive this grant, you will need to have Pell as well. Texas grant is another need-based grant. This is a state grant, but has some academic requirements. And also the funds are very limited and they vary from schools to school. Then we also have the TPH grant. It's another state grant. And it's usually awarded on first come, first served basis. So just be aware of the timing when you submit your applications. It's important that you do it ahead of time and don't wait till the last minute. So you will be able to access more resources and have more options for you to pay for your studies. Then we have also options of loans. This is a borrow money that it has to be repaid with interest. So this is not just like given money, you will need to pay it back. But you will pay it back once you graduate or you stop attending to school. So we have two types of loans. One is need-based and one is not need-based. And the interest rates vary and it just depends on the Department of Education and the loan type. So we have first the sub loan. The sub loan applies for all undergrad students and they must demonstrate that they have financial aid, financial need, sorry. The federal government will pay for the interest while you are still in school. So you will not need to have to pay that interest that you accrue during your studies until you graduate. So you will need to start paying once you graduate. They give you like a grace period, and after that, you will need to start paying for your loans, and the interest will start running. But we also have what is called the unsub loan. The unsub loan, it's also for students that do not demonstrate financial need, or for graduate students as well. And these the interests start running from the moment that you receive the loan. So you will have to pay for the loan received plus all the interest that accumulates during your school. We also have a Parent Plus loan available if the student can use their parents' information, their credit information to apply for this loan. We have more information in our webpage, so if you want to learn more about it, you can just go to the FINAID webpage and see more about the loans. If you want to increase your loans, you can also do it through our webpage in the additional aid. So finally, we have also the work studies. This is a type of grant that it's giving from the school, from federal, states, and institutional financial aid. With this grant, we help students to find part-time employments in order for you to receive that extra funds that you will probably need while you're in school. So what we normally do is the student that is eligible to the work study will look for job opportunities. It can be through the campus here in UTRGV, or we have also some pre-approved or campus organizations where you can have a job. The good thing of having a work study is that we can offer very flexible schedules. We provide a lot of student opportunities to develop and improve their work experience here with us, and they will we offer that flexibility to the students so they can be able to continue with their studies, but at the same time be gaining some funds that they will be probably needing, and also the professional experience. So that's also an interesting option that you can be looking at. You can also request, if you didn't see it under your awards, you can also request for the work study and just start looking for any type of opportunities here on campus or with other pre-approved organizations. Finally, we have the tuition advantage, which we have the deadline, as I mentioned at the beginning, coming up on March the 1st. The tuition advantage will help you cover a gap in your tuition and fee expenses for the regular academic year, meaning fall and spring. And we cover for that amount that it's not yet covered with other type of grants, of scholarships, or other type of aids. So we help you cover that difference that you may have on your tuitions and fees with this opportunity. So nowadays, in order to apply to the tuition and advantage, you will need to have a family income of 95,000 or less and demonstrate the financial aid reported in FAFSA and TESFA. You will also need to be classified as a Texas resident. You will need to enroll in 50 hours or more. If you don't, then the tuition advantage will be removed. That is one of the common questions. So if you are interested, you will need to enroll in 50 hours or more. This should be your first bachelor's degree, and some of the other qualifications. If it's for the entering freshman, it should be an ACT of 19, SAT of 990, or in the top 10 of the class. So just consider the dates, March the 1st. And I think that will be it from my part. Any type of questions that you may have, here's the information where you can find more information about us. And FAFSA, utrgv.edu/FAFSA, you will find all types of information about this and more, and all the forms and everything that you will need in order to complete any type of verification, documentation, etc. And also phone number and our email. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marcela. It was very informative. And we will have this PDF and the PDF of Marcela's presentation available on our Center for Latin American Arts website, so you can download it and read it at your leisure and have it as a resource on your computer. And this session will also is also being recorded so that you can watch it at any time if you need to. So, and also you can see these contact details about directly contacting the Office of Financial Aid. So thank you so much, Marcela. We are now going to present Esteban Martin from the Registrar's Office. We are excited and very thankful to have him here today at this event. As you might know, we have a new layout and a new program for Assist. We're excited for him to explain a little bit more about that. I mentioned too that enrollment is up between 8 and 9% from the last spring term last year. So we're excited that enrollment is strong, but we want to help you all keep your enrollment up and answer any questions you might have with the Registrar's Office about these details. And we encourage all students to be aware of deadlines posted on the academic calendars and follow them to help be the most successful you can be. So without further ado, Esteban, welcome, and thank you for sharing your presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me share my screen. Are you able to see the PowerPoint?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great.
Looks good.
Okay, so thank you for the little kind of intro. And as Dr. McCallum mentioned, there is an upgrade coming. Actually, it's happening right now. That's why I was a little bit late getting on this meeting. Assist going to get an upgrade, aesthetic-wise, going to look totally different. So my presentation is a little bit of that, how it looks, and just some other information that I'll provide. So start my app. The login will be the same, typical. If you haven't done it before, it'll be going to my UTRGV. And of course, once you log in, there will be an application called Assist. That will be our student system. Once in there, again, the change of the look is different. As you notice, there's going to be now tiles. There's no kind of just plain text. So each one of them, of course, student profile is going to be more of your general information. There's a financial aid, student accounting service, their finances, admissions, and of course, hours, registration. That's what I'm going to focus on. Once clicking on that registration, we'll have a couple of options. Prepare for registration. It's kind of almost like a healthy check on your academic record. You can kind of check in there, see if there's any holds, everything looks fine, and it'll be little check marks. And you're looking for green. Anything that's not green is never good, right? So kind of keep an eye on this little tile here. It's always a good thing to check it once in a while, just to make sure that you're ready for any registration that opens. Plan ahead. It's a new feature coming along. It's going to replace this course scheduler that students were using. It allows you to build a plan in advance, schedule. So that's coming on board, and we're creating guides and videos on how to do these. So we'll be emailing all students about this. So don't think we're going to just put out an upgrade and not let you know what's happening. So do expect emails coming in. So check your UTRGV emails. View registration information is just kind of like a little summary of what you register for. Browse classes and catalog is just pretty much what it describes, just looking for classes, information, descriptions, and of course, register drop classes, which is typically the transactional part. Clicking on that would, of course, bring you up to a selection, which is term, which we'll do summer 1 in this example. Upon clicking on the term, of course, you go into the searching of classes. Again, a different look. Most of these, apologize for that. Most of these kind of search boxes, if you click on them, it'll kind of populate a list. Those that don't, you can type in a kind of a word that might start a search. Typically what I do, I start with a subject and a course number, and I stick with that. You can go into more detail, more items, but the more you start refining, the more chances of you not getting a course selection back. So if you kind of stick with 2 or 3 at most, I think you'll be in a good position to do a search. Once the search comes in, again, a new display, a little bit more friendly on the eyes. You'll have your class descriptions. Clicking on this class description will open a new window, and there's a bunch of tabs in here that you can click on that gives you more information about classes. Usually what I tell students on my end is always check for prerequisites, any restrictions that class might have. I know sometimes we get questions, well, I'm not allowed to register. Necessarily registration doesn't stop you from doing a transaction. It's actually some restrictions that will prevent you. A hold, something the class has that you need to take before you can enroll, a permission required by the professor or department. So always check these prerequisites, co-requisites, restrictions to make sure that you have those when you're attempting to register. Again, a little more kind of colorful, full classes will be noted in bright red, which we always kind of reference red for being bad. So of course, all of this is going to be different. We're going to have guides, so just bear with us. To add classes, again, a little bit more intuitive, click on the add button, and that'll add that to a summary class schedule. We also have, again, maintain the CRN option, which is you can enter a selection if you know the specific course number, the specific course ID number, or CRN that we call it. You can enter those here, one at a time or multiple ones. Again, once you do that, it'll start kind of building your summary down here. Every time you click on add, it doesn't add you to the class immediately. It'll put it on the pending status stage that you see here. It's not until you take an actual final action and click submit that the system then updates your selections. You'll notice that one is registered in green. That means that you're fully enrolled for that class. The other one's pending until you take an action. And of course, the actions is drop, add, or add to the waitlist if the class is closed. We also have a website for common registration errors. We kind of reference, or we tell our students to go visit this site because it gives descriptions of what holds are and what they mean. Again, most of the time, the questions we get through our email accounts are, why can't I register? Why are you not letting me register? And most of the time, we can kind of go back and pinpoint where they're coming from. Usually it's a prerequisite, the class has a restriction, or there's something else that the student doesn't meet the requirement for that class. So always kind of reference this link and just kind of check it out here and there just to make sure that if you do bump into one, you'll know what it is. You probably all heard about Youth Central. Youth Central is kind of like our face, our financial aid, registrar's office, admissions, and sometimes also even our student accounting services. Those are kind of like our frontline folks. There are 2 locations, one in Edinburg and one here in Brownsville where I'm located. And this is their contact information. They also have a chat feature online. I know right now we're doing everything pretty much virtually most of the time. So they're always available to kind of chat with you in case you have any questions. And that was my slide. Again, nothing really too much involved, but any questions? I know an upgrade always brings questions about how's that gonna how's that gonna work? I don't know what it's gonna look like. What do I do? If you have questions, I can try to answer them right now.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Esteban. We're going to let the Office of Scholarships present very briefly about scholarships. And then at the end, we can have a full Q&A for all of y'all with questions that come in to our chat, if that works for you.
That'll work.
Okay, great. Great presentation. Thank you so much. Okay, and our final presentation before we go into this Q&A is going to be with the Scholarships Office. I wanted to introduce Tony Alvarez and Brenda Cowart from the Scholarships Office, who are here today to share with us information about scholarships. And Tony, I welcome you and take it away.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Let me go ahead and share the screen. Okay, let me just make this full screen real quick. right, sounds good. So just to introduce myself, my name is Tony Alvarez. I work for the scholarships office. I am a scholarship coordinator. Today, I'll go ahead and present the scholarship application process. So to start off, I'll just introduce the scholarship team. Brenda Garcia, who's Associate Director of Scholarships and Communications. Brenda Cowart, who's with me on this Zoom meeting as well, who's Assistant Director of Scholarships. Then we have Javier Salinas, who's located in Brownsville. Ashley Resendez and Beatriz Guzman, who are also part of the team, coordinators. And then myself, of course, Antonio Alvarez, or known to, I guess, a lot of people, Tony Alvarez. And that's our contact information, phone numbers, email addresses. So as I mentioned, what we're going to talk about is the online application for scholarships. Just a little bit, a couple of facts about the application. For new students, they must be admitted to the university by December 1st. They're still able to access the application if they're not admitted yet. Like they're still able to make their profile and have their application ready to go. They just have to remember that they have to meet that deadline as far as being admitted to the university. For current undergrads and graduate students, their deadline is February 1st, which just passed a little while ago. So for students, they have to go ahead and complete their application, create their profile by that date. I know the date has already passed, but like we were discussing a little while ago, students are still able to log in. If they never used the application before, they can go ahead and create the profile. So even though the deadline has passed, they're still able to go in and create their profile so they can be ready for any scholarship that might arrive or for the next time the application opens. But we'll go over the application just a little bit. Also, as I mentioned here, updates and changes can be made up until that deadline. So main key here for the application is utrgv.edu/apply scholarships. That's going to be the web page that you guys want to remember to go ahead and visit. It's going to take you to this home page. I know there's different options you see here. So the main thing you want to take a look at is if you never used it before, to create a new account, or also if you already have an account, already done it before, you can go ahead and log in, as you see there, that second box. There's also spots for submit recommendations, which I'll talk a little briefly in just a little bit, and then also a spot for external scholarships. So in case you guys want to check out any scholarships that may be available like outside the university, you can click on that box and it'll show you a web page, like a list of the different scholarships that are available to you to apply for. So once we'll start off with creating a new account. So you click that box. It says there, just like everything else that I guess we create accounts for nowadays, it's going to ask for an email and for you to set up a password. Go ahead and click register. It's going to send a confirmation link to your email address. That way you can go ahead and confirm your account. Once you've done so, you can go ahead and log in. You're going to see different boxes here. There's, of course, one for change your password and log off from the application. But you're going to see the actual applications right there beginning to the left. So you go ahead and click, say for in this instance, the 2021-2022, which just passed, but you can still go ahead and click it. It's going to take you to a scholarship application. So the application, it's not too harsh. It's not too long. It's pretty simple to go ahead and complete. I guess a lot of times students give me a call and they're kind of surprised as to how fast they finished it. It's not too quick of, or it's not too long of a process. It's just a matter of sitting down and taking time to finish it. So here you see the basic information you have to fill out, name, birthday, address, then some demographic information and some high school information. As you scroll down, you're going to see these 4 questions that you want to go ahead and answer. I know it says it's optional on top, but we'd recommend that you guys go ahead and fill out the questions. As it mentions there, it's a minimum length recommended of 250 words, and it's just these 4 questions. Again, not too harsh, nothing too difficult to answer. It's just a matter of sitting down and going ahead and putting any information that you have in there. Some students may ask, well, I don't have, say like volunteer work, whatever it may be. I mean, of course they can put not applicable, but I try to recommend them if they have anything, go ahead and insert it there. So those are the 4 questions at the bottom of the application itself. After you're done with that, which we just saw is the student profile. After you're complete with it, then you can go ahead and click over. It's going to allow you to click over on scholarship results tab. In there, you're going to see all the scholarships that I guess arise from you doing your profile. And these scholarships applications, they fluctuate, between students depending on what information they put on the scholarship student profile itself. So in there, you'll see it. You'll have the application deadlines as well. Some questions that we get, students will ask, okay, do I have to go one by one applying for all of them that showed up? The good thing is you don't have to. The student profile is being used at the application to apply for all of these scholarships. The only thing you do have to look out for is the where it says any additional questions. That's where you're going to have to go ahead and answer those questions for a specific scholarship. And of course, you have up until the deadline, which it shows you on the page as well, to go ahead and make any changes. Also, there's a spot for recommendation submissions. The way it works is you want to go ahead and click request recommendation by email. So the person who's going to give you the recommendation, they're going to receive this email and they're going to click on that link. And of course, in there, it gives them a code. So they click that link, they use that code, and they're able to log in to go ahead and submit a recommendation for you. So that's the way the recommendations work. I know a lot of times students, they have recommendation letters already from certain individuals. We can still work with that. Just give me a call or send me an email. That way we can go ahead and figure out how to go ahead and upload a recommendation for you. But for the most part, this is the way that you're gonna get recommendations submitted for you on someone else's behalf. Some items to remember, of course, is the main thing, the webpage, which is utrgv.edu/apply scholarships. Just the deadline dates on here as well, which are very important. I know I was listening to the deadline dates of the other presentations, and I was taking notes to them as well, because I mean, of course I get calls and I want to make sure that I'm up to date with the deadlines. Another thing also, scholarship results, as I mentioned, they do change based on the information that you put on your profile. So say if you're like an arts major, or if you're like engineering major, you'll see different kinds of scholarships applications in your scholarship results tab based on the information you input. Students, they get notified via email if they have been awarded the scholarship. Along with that email, it's going to give students provisions, like, pretty much like guidelines as to what they have to do. Of course, like accept the scholarship offer, explains to them how they get the money given to them, which goes to tuition first, of course. If it's a scholarship that's going to be lasting for several semesters, it gives you guys some provisions, some guidelines, like maybe you have to enroll in a certain amount of hours, or you have to maintain a certain GPA as well. Sometimes students are confused as to why they haven't received their scholarship award yet in their account. A lot of times it's because they haven't met one of those guidelines, one of those requirements that's needed by the scholarship. So just keep in mind that information whenever you do get awarded a scholarship. So just to share with y'all our contact information, the number right there is 665-2935. And then we also have a main email address, which is scholarships@utrgv.edu. Also our website right there, utrgv.edu/scholarships. Once again, the one to apply for the actual scholarship application is utrgv.edu/apply scholarships. But yeah, I guess at this moment, I believe that's the last slide. So we can go ahead and answer any questions that you guys may have.
Thank you, Tony. That was a great presentation.
Thank you.
And also, just to reiterate, I'm glad to hear that there is a little flexibility with the scholarship deadlines. And those are most likely, I think, contingent on the decisions of each department. So please contact your chair of your department or a mentor in your field of study and ask if you can still apply for scholarships, because each department might open up the possibility to still be accepting scholarship applications now. I'm glad to hear that. I had a few questions that some of my students have sent me, so I thought I would just ask them. I'm going to go ahead and ask them. If anyone has any other questions, please feel free to put it in the Q&A section of the chat, or if anyone has a question, you can just put it directly into the chat for everyone. One of my students asked a question of let's see. for, well, there are a lot of them here. One of the questions was for Esteban. How and when are students notified if they're on the dean's list? I like where they're thinking from.
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, we try to send that immediately after grades are done. Of course, there's a lot of moving parts. So typically, I would say within 48 hours, we send that out to deans saying these are the students under your programs that have received this honor. And it's from there that they kind of send whatever notification they do on their part. We as an office try to notify the students just as a simple congratulatory email saying you made this honors. And that's it, usually within the 48 hours too. That's all I have for that.
We can't hear you, Catherine.
Ah, sorry. Thank you. I also had a question for you, Marcela, or about financial aid. How early are students notified if they receive financial aid?
Hello. Yes. So basically, after you submitted your FAFSA, you're probably gonna receive a confirmation about it, and we will need to process that. And basically, what happens afterwards is that some students, if you're not selected for any type of verification or any documentation, you will probably will be awarded. I know that for next year, we already start awarding since yesterday. So probably students will start noting that they are starting to get the awards on their assist during this couple of days. So just make sure that you complete any type of pending documentations. Go to your assist and verify that you don't have anything pending, because if you have pending requirements, pending forms, pending documentation, you will not be awarded. So that's what I will suggest.
And how many classes are students required to take to receive financial aid? I think you said that, but I just wanted to clarify.
Well, it depends, but there's not a minimum. Like for example, for Pell Grant, if you just enroll in one class, you are eligible to receive Pell Grant. It will just depends on your estimated family contribution, but if you're enrolled in at least one class, you're eligible. There's some other ones like Texas Grant and the Tuition Advantage that you will need to enroll 15 hours. But for the other grants, with at least one course.
Okay, great. And then I had a question for scholarships, Tony and Brenda. Is there a resources page on the UTRGV scholarships website that shares websites of non-university scholarship opportunities?
Well, on the scholarship application page, the homepage, it does have a link for external scholarships, where students can click on there and check out any scholarships outside the university. As far as like on the scholarship website itself, I don't know, Brenda, is there like another spot?
Yeah, it goes to the same page, but it says outside scholarships, I think, and it goes to that page. Right now, we're really encouraging everyone to apply for the STARS scholarship. It's one of the best that we have for our students, because they award a lot of our students, and so we just need to get them to apply. And the deadline, I think, is the end of March.
It's called the STAR Scholarship, like the Star
STARS
County?
scholarship. Yeah, there's a link on our website, starsscholarshipfund.org, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we might have 1,000 students apply, but they might give 200 scholarships. So, I mean, your chances are good. They give a lot of money. They're located in McAllen.
Okay. Great. That's great to know. Thank you so much. We'll take a look at that. Okay. And then on for the registrar, going back to you, Esteban, students were asking, how long should a student be on the wait list before signing up for another class?
Okay, that varies. I know some classes are very popular, or professors might say. If you see, honestly, my kind of recommendation to students whenever they ask that, I tell them, if you see, there's a wait list of 25, chances are getting slimmer as the number gets higher. If they don't see something moving, I would say within a month, if they did that early on, I would start seeking maybe some other options. Again, it's a wait list. It's not a guaranteed seat. So if they don't see their placement moving anything up and down or down, right? I have options. Don't kind of bet everything that class can make or be available for you, because you never know. It could never release a seat and you're stuck on a wait list. Find those that have the smaller numbers of students waiting on it. I know everybody wants that professor, that time, but everybody else also wants that professor and time. So you kind of have to kind of shop around, look around, see what best fits your schedule if that option is not available for you. So I say if you kind of stick within the 15 minimum wait list, I would say that'd be a good number in my opinion.
Okay, great, thanks. And then also another student was asking for important dates for summer. I was gonna mention it's on the registration social poster. March 1st is when summer registration opens, correct? And then March
Yes.
29th is when registration for fall opens?
Yes, we kind of delayed by a week the summer one, and that was just because of, that very not so common little winter we had on February. So they kind of made sure that everybody was kind of had some extra time, staff, even students, because everybody was impacted in some way or form. So March 1st would be summer, and then of course the fall. And as I mentioned earlier, an upgrade that's actually happening right now to release to the public, hopefully by the end of the day or tomorrow. And we're kind of literally finishing out the guides, videos, so we can send emails to students saying, this is the new look. Go to these sites to kind of test it out.
And that will be disseminated to all students on their UTRGV emails?
Yes, pretty much anybody that's active will get that email. And again, we're trying to send them as soon as possible, but we're just trying to make sure we have a good product before we put it out there.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And this is a question for, I believe, financial aid. I'm a foreign student with an F2 visa, and I finished high school. While filling out the FAFSA forms for scholarships, I do not know how to report my parents' incomes. Oh, maybe this is a scholarships question. My parent is retired from a Mexican job. How should I report them in the FAFSA form? Or that's a financial aid question, right?
Yes. So what I will suggest for her is just to contact the person that is in charge of the TASFA processing. Honestly, I do not work with the TASFA students. So if I gave her any type of information, I will not be a good option, but I will put it here in the chat, the email of the person that is in charge of the processing any type of FAFSA and that works with all the students that submit TASFA. So I will just put her email directly here so she can just email her.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And just a final note, sorry, Catherine, on the last question that you asked me about how many credits students need to be enrolled in order to receive a financial aid. I forgot to mention that for any type of loans, they will need to be enrolled in at least 6 credit hours.
Okay,
Sorry.
great. Thank you so much. And thank you for putting that in the chat. Another student asked, do you recommend that students apply for the Hispanic Scholarship Fund?
Yes, we recommend students apply for any scholarship that they can.
Agreed.
That's a big one. I mean, it's harder to get because it's nationwide, but yes, that one, the Haku, the others that are on our website, yeah.
Okay. Okay, perfect. And then another question for for, let's see. Oh, this is a question for the registrar, Esteban. If a student needs a specific class to graduate and it's not listed under the new semester, what should a student do? Should they contact their department or speak to the registrar?
Actually, we recommend they speak to an advisor first. Definitely want the student to graduate as soon as possible. We don't want to delay that. There might be an option that they maybe submit a course up or start those type of conversations. Or maybe the department gets alerted and maybe they can reconsider the fact that they need a course. Maybe there's more than one student needing that course. Definitely reach out to an advisor, talk to them, and start the conversation. Do we alert the department, or we start possible course substitution? Take this course instead of that one.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then I think the final question I have from my students is, how do emergency loans work? And I believe that would be a financial aid question.
Well, no, not directly. That's actually another department that they are in charge of the emergency loans. I think it's on the UTRGV webpage. They can just look for the emergency loan. It's student, sorry, the email is student_billing@UTRGV. And also for apply to any type of emergency loans will be on the assist. They have that option available for them to apply there. So it's not directly with us. That will be another department. They're actually located in another building. So, but they have all the information on the UTRGV webpage and on their assist as well.
Okay, great. Great. All right, I think those are all the questions I've received from my students. I'm looking in the chat. Marcella, I just didn't know if I should maybe enter that information in the chat that you mentioned, that postscript about the hours.
Okay, yeah, I can add it here into the chat. Do you want me to put that information there?
Sure, that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
And then Stephanie Pettis is the person to contact with TASFA?
Yes, that's correct. She's the one that is in charge of processing TASFA. So any type of questions that will be directly with her because she's the one that is better aware for that program.
Okay, great. Okay, well, I think that we've answered all the questions that my students and our students have sent in, and I appreciate your time and your presentations today. They're so helpful, and I'm excited for our students to have a copy of the PDF of your PowerPoints so they can keep them for their own resources for planning and learning more about the online databases and the support for them.
Can I just say one last thing?
Yes.
I know there's nothing out right now for students to kind of access assist, but I do really encourage the students that are right now here, whenever it does become live available, just kind of click in it, poke around. That's what I do when it comes to stuff. That's how I'm a visual kind of tester. So I click around, see what it does. We have a week before registration opens. So it's a very good kind of exercise for you to just test, see what this does, what that does, what information's here and there. But again, we'll have guides and videos also for reference.
Okay, great. Thank you. And just to confirm, registration does open March 1st?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a priority group that they call. Those will have access on the 26th. But again, those students will be notified more than likely today or tomorrow of who's in that group. So check again, always your UTRGV email, because we send a lot of information there.
Excellent.
Yeah, I just want to add to please check your emails. I know you all get a lot of emails, I know, but really, I mean, sometimes it's really important and it could make a difference between getting money and not getting money. So it's just important. At least, make sure you understand what you're getting in your emails, so you at least know.
Yes, great points. Track your emails. Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much to everyone for coming. This is very informative, and I'm excited for all of us to have these resources, faculty and students alike. So thank you so much. And if you have any other questions, please, students, please go to our website at utrgv.edu/CLAA. Under our events, we'll post all of the PowerPoints and the link to the recording of this event if you want to watch it again or share it with students and parents and colleagues. So thank you all so much for your time. I know it's very precious, and I just really appreciate everyone being here and helping our students. So have a wonderful day, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.